possible. Our great Nigeria is very possible. And useful. Obedient and useful. Our great Nigeria is possible. Our great Nigeria is very possible. For better infrastructure, for better life, yeah, my people. For better roads, yeah, for better hospitals and health, yeah. For lights today, for everything to work for us, for Nigeria. Yeah. No more hunger. Obi for better Nigeria. Obedient and useful. Obi, I'll be obedient and useful. Obi, oh yeah, Obi, get it. Hausa man, Yoruba man, Igbo man, Middle Belt, Niger Delta. Let us come together for better Nigeria. For better life, for better health, for better road. From consumption to production.
Once more, everyone, my name is Mazozoka. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I hope you can hear me this evening. If you can hear me this evening, would you do me a favor by liking and sharing? Remember to subscribe to this platform where we try as much as possible to dish out the truth, where we explore the truth behind the headlines you read every day. I know many of you have been waiting and it's slightly late, but we'll try as much as possible not to keep us waiting. So this evening, as you are aware, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I can see Papobina Onyedot is there. This evening, we are going to look at within the Southeast, or rather what I refer to personally as the Great Igbo Nation, where sometimes the system tries to divide brothers and sisters. And that would be between what we consider happening within the within the Southeast. If you can hear me loud and clear, please kindly indicate that you can hear me loud and clear. Hold on, let me do quickly a sound check. If you can hear me loud and clear, quickly, where is my sound? I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? What's happening, people? Hold on. Something is definitely happening. If you can hear me, where are we? Okay. Let me see quickly what's happening here. Can you hear me loud and clear? Okay. I believe so that you can hear me now. Okay. Okay. Yes. I believe so you can hear me. So what is happening? Testing 1, 2, 3. Onyanimo. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Testing 1, 2, 3. Onyanimo there. So quickly, what I wanted to discuss with us this evening is that when we look at some of the things happening vis-a-vis um, the trajectory that we are going, just opposing that to the historical facts of things that had happened in the past, the balkanization of a people, especially the indigenous people, in this case, the great Igbo nation, where you have brothers and sisters, um, a people after the slave trade, some of the um, balkanization that happened within the military era that helped to kind of take brothers and sisters apart. But we would endeavor as much as possible to always fix and situate things the right way. I recall one of the interviews I did have with Arise TV, and I was asked a question: what is my stand on Wike, who said he's not Igbo? And I minced no words to say that Wike is an adult. Wike can be anything he claims that he wants to be. He can be Joe. He can take any identity. However, if any of our brother comes up and says he is Igbo, of course, then that individual is Igbo. If you go to the Great Ikwere Kingdom, you hear someone like Rotimi Chibike Amechi says that he is Igbo. Of course, he is Igbo. If Wike says he is not Igbo, then Wike is not Igbo. Why should you go and quarrel about that? Because it is akin to my philosophy of you watching me now. Mazezoke walks into your family, into your sitting room, looking at your family picture where you have your wife and maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 children. Then I would then sit there before you and say, oh, why am I not in this picture? Of course, it is not my picture, it is yours. So as long as we have coloring pen, as long as we have pencils, as long as we have drawing boards, let us draw and define our own. This evening, I want to explore why I am making these assertions, because as the political landscape begins to mature and develop, we will begin to see more of this where people either they deny what they are or they begin to actually accept that which they had previously either denied or really played down, but they will begin to accept them as reality. I'm going to show us a clip, and in this clip, it is a question of, Okowa, that is the vice presidential candidate to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar for the 2023 presidential election, who then, when he was asked by reporters certain questions and he needed to make that clarification, alluding to the fact that they were going to get vote from the southeast and also the south, and he made that fact and he stated it equivocally. He stated it very factually here, unequivocally, that he is Igbo. And again, I say to you, those of you who may be watching now and will be running out to say one thing or the other, oh, Joy, thank you very much for the super sticker. So those of you who may want to, who are watching now, that may want to eventually run out and begin to say, oh, why is he Igbo? He is Niger Delta. Come on, what is Niger Delta? When a man who bears a name, Ifeanyi Chukwu Okowa, Ifeanyi Chukwu, there is nothing greater than God. When someone who is initiated into the Ozo title like myself, the red cap we wear is not just for fancy. Until you are initiated into the Ozo title cult, then you become an Ozo title holder. And Ifeanyi Chukwu is an Ozo title holder. Hence, the reason why he wears that red cap that he wears. Therefore, when he says he's Igbo, he is a true son of the great Igbo nation. Do not be deceived, because the great Igbo nation does not stop only in the southeast. The great Igbo nation extends even to the point of Benin, the great Benin kingdom. The great Igbo nation extends in Delta states. The great Igbo nation extends to Kogi and some part of Benue. There is an area in Benue state, if not that the military were sometimes, I don't know if when they kind of done the boundary adjustment, if some of them were totally drunk, or if there was no mischief behind that, those areas should have been in a very and a different geographical setting. But hey, here we are. We have to make do with what we have today. Having said that, let me quickly show us what I mean.
But I'm definitely an Igbo man. There's no doubt about that. I'm from Delta State in the south, but if you're looking at Igbos across the country, I'm an Igbo man. I can't be counted out, and that is a true situation.
Okay.
So the issue of the vice presidency has not been on the debate where it will go to. Is actually premised on the fact that when the presidential candidate emerges, he looks for what possible zone and what possible person can work with me, and what can be part of the team that can make us actually succeed in governing the people aright. And I think that is what informed the decision.
Okay.
I'm just a lucky person that being from the south, I am also an Igbo man, and to that extent, I fit into all the devices.
So you have heard that being an Igbo man, that I think with this broadcast this evening, that conversation must and should be laid to rest. There is no gainsaying again that Ifeanyi Chukwu Okowa is onye Igbo. Many people say that of what use is that to us. It doesn't mean that when you have 2-3 Igbos contesting for an election that you cannot make your choice. There are others. Kwankwaso is from the northwest. Kwankwaso, and you have Atiku Abubakar from the north, from the north central. Sorry, from the northeast, which is Adamawa. What is it? Again, if you come back, you have Barrister Adewale, who is contesting under the SDP, and you have Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the BAT. Again, both men are Yorubas. No one appears to be hearing anything from Barrister Adewale, but every day you open your television, on your television, you hear so much from Atiwaju Tinubu. That's on that line. But saying about Asiwaju Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, both men appear to be knocking themselves right, left, and center. Both men appear to be knocking themselves right, left, and center. Some have argued that when they knock themselves, they only knock themselves for the cameras, for the optics. But when they go inside, that they actually are good friends. Today, while they went to Kaduna, because it appears today was a Kaduna day, Peter Obi himself went to Kaduna, where he met with who many of you call the terrorist negotiator, that is Sheikh Gumi, and he went with, and he had a, on the invitation of the Northern Elders Committee. I think is a joint sitting of the Northern Elders Forums and the Arewa Consultative Forums. So when he's gone there and he met with them, obviously, if you go to our Twitter handles, you will see the pictures that came from that event. That is still the same Kaduna. In the same Kaduna today, you had the Atiku Abubakar as well have their own rally. But something happened. I show us this so that we have to be very careful moving into this election. These are the two men contesting this election under APC and PDP when they met themselves at the VVIP lounge. You know, when you hear VVIP lounge, you think it's somewhere that is very good. Never know that the VVIP lounge in Nigeria is as worse as an economy lounge in any international, serious international airport. Now watch the two men here.
How is that? Eh? How is that? The Jagaban.
Now, you see how these two men sat there. They actually spoke to one another. They respected one another. None of them daggered one another. None of them smacked one another. Okay? None of them. They respected each other in this environment. Then question is, why are you, as a supporter, going to destroy your own brother, your own sister, your own friend, your family because of these men that are here on their own? You see them, how they were jovial, shaking hands, discussing. Tinubu, you can see here, Tinubu is even pointing at Atiku's PDP logo, right? Tinubu is pointing at Atiku's logo saying, oh, what is this logo for? And all the rest. But you can see that there. These men went in there in the VPIP lounge and they, you know, spoke with one another respectfully. That is what one would have been expecting from those supporting other groups. Honestly, that's what one should have been expecting from those supporting other candidates. But hey, many a times that is not the case. What people do is that they keep fighting. It's just like when people fight for their own gods. You know, you cannot fight for your God if your God is so, you know, mysterious. Let them go fight for themselves. Why fight for your God? Why fight for those that obviously do what they do best? So, but why I'm saying this is as a result of the next video that I'll play for us. You will look at this video, you understand what I mean. Now, this is at the PDP campaign ground today. What you're looking at is people using sticks, people using machete to fight each other in a PDP rally in Kaduna. Many of the PDP people are now accusing you know, the APC as being the brain behind that. You know, if you look at the conversation that ensued between Professor Parogi in America and what's it called again? the Afro senator, Senator Shesani. If you look at that tweet conversation, you would begin to appreciate the insinuations that that rascality that you see on display here, that the rascality you see on display here, that is the insinuation. The insinuation remains that the rascality you see here is caused by the Agbado gang. Let me see quickly if I can pull up that tweet from Prof here. 19. Let me see quickly. Okay. So I think I should be able to pull that up. Now, contrast that with the previous video I shown you. In the previous video, you can see where the two principals are hugging each other, shaking hands, staying in a very air-conditioned environment, whereas their minions are on the field, hurting themselves, macheting themselves in a field. So be wise. Like Dele Farotimi would always say, do not die in their wars. You are destroying yourself here, hurting yourselves here. The men you're fighting for are in an air-conditioned environment. You know, guys, this madness ought to stop. It's entirely it's not right. Just put it that way. It's not right. Okay? This has to stop. Now, having said that, you now come to another event where Bola Tinubu, today, because everything that we're saying happened today. Bola Tinubu went to an event and he was asked a question on climate change. It's no longer news that last week he told those asking questions to shut up. That's no longer news that he told them to shut up. But this one is that he was asked a question on climate change. Man, that guy, it's either he's too old or he's no longer there. But before we get to that, listen to what he said here.
They are coming. One would say is Atiku. One will call himself Peter Obi. You don't know them. The only person you know is Bola Tinubu. And you must deliver 95% of the vote.
So when you listen to this, maybe you begin to also appreciate the fact that how they speak about certain people, because today it appears to be a war of words between Atiku and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where Atiku, on the other hand, who over the weekend told the northern Nigeria not to vote any Igbo or to vote any Yoruba. Tinubu, on the other hand, has always made similar statement. The two individuals have been hammering and using ethnic slurs, ethnic comments to campaign for this election. People, we must condemn that because that is not correct and that is not right. That is not a good thing to do, and we implore you guys to walk away from there. But in all these things that they do, the other candidates that they somehow attack actually shows them how election is being done. He says absolutely nothing in those regards. He does absolutely nothing in those regards. He sticks to issues. The issues that are bothering Nigerians are the things that bothers him. Recall that he made a tweet over the weekend when First Ladyship Aisha and Renu were on their selves, really battling it out, arguing about, stuff. And he said, yes, it is right for all these people to actually feel so strong and ask him questions. And if they do ask these questions, it is within their right to expect that he must answer these questions that they have asked, And that is how governance should be. Governance is not about, people really, lording it over us in a way and manner that many of us find very, very distasteful. Here we have a man showcasing himself to be quite different from the whole array of things happening. At some point, if he's on that trajectory, you will see because he stays on issues, that's why he had consistently talked to Nigerians about the oil theft happening in the Niger Delta. Oil theft happening in the Niger Delta. And because he's been speaking about this oil theft happening in the Niger Delta, suddenly, everywhere you now look, every day you wake up, all they do is to discover oil, to discover pipeline where they are stealing pipeline in everywhere. Every single place is discover oil pipeline, oil pipeline, oil pipeline being broken into, oil pipeline being broken into. Why? Why did he have to take him, because he talked about it, he hammered on it. Why did he have to be to that point before anyone could actually start doing something in that direction? Isn't that not telling us something? Is that not telling us something? Now, let me show us something here. Is to show us that the other time I titled one of my program, Nigeria is a crime scene. And this, indeed, Nigeria is a crime scene, because it is only in a crime scene that you will see something like this. And yet, the two leading candidates, Atiku and Tinubu, have never spoken on those issues. Why? I'm not saying that they are involved, but isn't it instructive that, they haven't spoken on it? Isn't it instructive that NDLA busted a cocaine or drug warehouse where they made their largest discovery ever made in the history of Nigeria? And a couple of days later, guess who visited the head of NDLA? That is the former governor of Lagos, also the military head, the military governor, in the person of Buba Mawa. I don't want to show you a picture. Google it. Couple of days after that bust. I'm not making any connection here. I'm not lining any dots. But I'm just saying that why is it that something like this is happening on this scale and no one is actually talking about it? Watch this.
Now where did all come from that one?
Now look at this. Look at this. This is a nation where the oil, this is in multiple places, so it's not like one. In multiple places, they are stealing this in multiple places. So it means when they say Nigeria is not meeting up their targets, does this make sense? When thieves steal more than the nation, when thieves steal more than a nation, that is unbelievable madness. Then you look at this one too.
The major pipeline you see behind me is a 48-inch Focados export line. This line takes crude oil out of Nigeria. The oil flowing through this pipe is said to be the best oil any oil thief can lay their hands on because the oil has already heated. Now, attached to this major pipeline is an illegal connection. A 6-inch pipeline has been connected here. Now, this same pipeline is connected to an abandoned Aji line. From there, crude oil is pumped into an offshore jacket in the shallow waters. If this pipeline pumps oil for 1 year, the thieves get 1.5 months of production in a whole year. Now, what's mind-boggling about this particular discovery is the fact that just a stone throw away is a security checkpoint.
Okay, and you tell me they are not aware. This is a security checkpoint. Pause this video at this point. At the back of that lady, you can see that blue roof. That is a security checkpoint. That is a naval checkpoint because the naval is blue. You see that there, right? Security checkpoint. Just in that canal looking stuff is where this oil gets into an Ajip field, and ship will come there, take the oil. And all of them working there, they're all blind. Ahmadiyya will just blind all of them. None of them will see the, when these activities are happening. Nigeria is a crime scene. And this is happening. None of the parties, be it the APC or the PDP, would really demand for those. Anyway, what is it? What is the difference between 6 and half a dozen? We have a petroleum minister in the last 7 years who, anyway, I don't want to keep talking about him, but he's as incompetent as a rag at, anything that you can think of. The petroleum minister is, I think, is the most incompetent petroleum minister ever. He doesn't talk. He addresses no one. He's nothing but a wooden carved oracle who basically says nothing. And all these things that are happening keep happening day in, day out. Every day you wake up, there must be new discovery. There must be new video telling you not only that we talk about oil spill, we talk about other things, and these things keep happening. Jeez. It's indeed heartbreaking, and it is, it is also really not funny that these things are happening. Whereas if you go to the other side, you see people going around, the other candidate, you see him, if he goes to the United Nations, if he goes to UN, you see him walking alone, maybe with 1 or 2 people, but you can see him, he carries his bag. You won't even know that he's the one walking. One of the times we visited the European Union, look at him. Somebody just sent me this video.
Our next president.
Look at him here. Walking
By God's grace, inshallah.
See, walking with his own bag.
Allah Ibamu make.
No one is holding him.
Allah Ibamu make. Gamuna EU.
This is the EU house there. I just got this video today and I thought to myself, man, very simple, very simpliciter. That's, what a very simple human being. A very simple human being. Again, there are also other activities happening. You can see other activities happening in, apart from the visit you saw today, where him and Dati had visited, but as well, there are other many activities happening especially in the northern part of Nigeria. You go to Njenje Media, I think this video has been Oyanimo says everybody's now carrying their bags. Everybody now carry their bags. Yeah, the other day we saw a video of Sore actually rolling his own bags. This is no longer the usual carry my bag, I know carry my bag. Everybody now rolls their own bag. Some, even as a result of him, being fit. Some, like the former party chairman, former APC party chairman, Adams Oshomola, some of them have actually gone to the gym to see if they can be fit. And sometimes when you look at when you look at them at the fitness place, you basically want to laugh your head off, you know. When you look at Oshomole, for instance, what he's doing in this video, and you say, "Okay, just do your job." You can see, so everything he does, every one of them wants to do it. But in all this, remember that in 3 days, it will be 2 years remembrance of the Lekki massacre that they have denied. And some the Nigerian youth are still reminding them of what they've done to them.
You killed us for Lekki toll gate, and you think we go forget?
We dey cry, dey request for good governance. You killed us with your thugs in uniform, yet una deny am. Still think say we forget.
We on am, only with our flags, singing and chanting the national anthem. The same anthem wey tell us say we be the leaders of tomorrow. But still yet, our grandfathers dey lead us. Dem still dey borrow, dey starve us, dey lead us to place where dem sef dem no know. Dem think say we forget.
Una kill us, off light, bury us, and una think say we go forget. Join us at Unity Fountain, 20th of October, as we march to remember our fallen heroes of the EndSARS.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Take it back.
20th October, na the day when no youth for Nigeria go forget. Take it back. It's time for the youth to take it back.
You see? So 20th is the date that you have to at least pay respect to those that lost their lives, and the lying machines denied that they never died. And because they denied that they never died, may the pains of those that have lost their loved ones, may that such pain visit them. If no one died, then may no pain visit them. But if people died and they were denying it and they are still denying it, may that pain visit them 2 million folds. May that pain visit them 2 million folds. So people quickly, because it is late now, understanding that many of you are going to work tomorrow, we will be closing with the following. Like I said to us before, Tinubu was asked in an event about climate change. And you may think to yourself, there is something absolutely wrong, either with his thinking, or there is something absolutely wrong with either comprehension. But I don't know. But just be the judge and listen to how he handled the question that was asked of him regarding climate change. Watch.
The climate change, Prof. It's a question of how do you prevent a church rat from eating a poisoned Holy Communion?
I'm still struggling for anyone to get me the connection, the nexus between climate change and rat eating Holy Communion? I beg. Can someone help me?
That's the way. We are a poor nation. The ban coal will follow. They say firewood not for fire. They say we need to plant more trees. And they are not giving us money. We need to open our eyes, shine it, and tell the West, if you don't guarantee our finances and work with us to stop this, we are not going to comply with your climate change. They'll do
it. This is what they call bravado. Eh? If they don't help us with our finances, then we will not comply with climate change. And this is a man who is vying for president, making such comments. Well, make una de look. Our own is to keep laying these facts. That was what was being done in 2014-15. Yet, many of us still played into their hands. And you can see where we are today. You can see how everybody is now crying. In the words of Professor Yemi Osibanjo, he said that is the reason why we are where we are. Now, look at this one again. Because Atiku is now fighting with Tinubu. Over what? Over Agbado, cassava, corn, whatever it's called. Okay, look at this. The All Progressive Congress presidential candidate, Asiwaju Tinubu, on Monday, threw a jab at his main contender and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, for playing the ethnic card ahead of the 2023 election. Tinubu had at an interactive session with the Arewa Joint Committee, the same place that I asked you, where they invited Peter as well. All of them were invited just to have interaction with them, you know. And I think that is, I must note before I continue, I think that's one good thing Arewa does. You know, you have invited them. I'm not aware that the either Ohanes or whoever is inviting all of them to come for the job interview, because that's what it is. You've gone there, they tell you this is where their priority is. What are you going to do to tackle X, Y, Z? Then you tell them when you go, they all sit together and they make their choice and represent themselves as a region. But in that session, Tinubu basically identified himself, says he sees himself as a pan-Nigerian, having traversed all parts of Nigeria. A lie. Lorilo is a lie. It's a big, fat, bloody lie. I cannot remember and recall the day Tinubu had visited Anambra, for instance. And I am not aware that Tinubu may have visited Abia when he visited Oju Zokalo, but I am not aware that Tinubu has visited Anambra, for instance. And there are other states also that Tinubu had never paid a visit to. He's not interested, but he's now telling us that he has traversed all these places. So you are seeing for yourself, and that is what they take you for, because obviously if they tell you that they have traversed everywhere, so we have to believe them that they've traversed everywhere. So people, you do my own. I will leave you with the following before I say good night to you. I find this video very interesting. Why? Because it explains what BIVAS, what we are going to be expecting from the use of BIVAS come 2023. Let's watch.
BIVAS, Bimodal Voter Accreditation System. I will explain briefly what it's going to do at the polling unit. And that is what the party agent must watch out for. You must not allow any presiding officer of INEC to snapshot any image except the result of the election of that polling unit. That is the result, my brother. Because people are just wasting their time distributing money, sharing money. Somebody who has not won the election is sitting at the beer parlor drinking, and a lot of irregularity has happened at the polling unit. There is a paper, we call it result sheet. That paper, all the results of the candidate in that polling unit will be entered there. Now, the presiding officer will not take the paper like this. People are, those are told, they should listen to me. I've read it everywhere. People saying INEC is just inputting figure into the system. No, INEC doesn't write figure. What INEC will do with BIVAS does not allow you to input figure. There's no space. There's no way. What you do is you carry the BIVAS like this. Then you take a snapshot of the result. It is the image of that result that will be transmitted into the portal. So as you are uploading it, the thing is dropping. There is no manual collation that will take place unless the electronic transmission must have been concluded.
Fantastic. And that image cannot be reversed.
Till eternity it will be there. If you want to take the election, it's still there. Just go to the INEC result portal. It will show you. That is the magic INEC has been able to achieve. This BIVAS, it is the game changer for now.
For now, I agree. But for those that may eventually be among those that would work on this election, pay attention on the result sheet, because that may be the only place that they may sorry, my sister, my big sis, I greet you. My big sis says so he is a VP of Igbo extraction. Who does not want a president of Igbo extraction? The Amazon of the Niger Delta don't scatter table. He's saying that Okowa is a VP of Igbo extraction, but Ndi Igbo want a president of Igbo extraction. That's a nice argument. I like that. Thank you very much, big sis. Longest time, how you there? I hope you're fine now. Anyway, so people, on that note, I'll leave us before it drags too much. But before I do, I'll leave us with these words from Ahmed Issa, the what's it called? Brekete family president, that is ordinary president. I will leave us with his comment. Thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. Thank you.
Same politics where would they talk, say, this 2023, we go use and rescue Nigeria. The same politics now don't they take ethnic, religious, and tribal dimension. If we told this line, we no go succeed. If we told this line, we no go succeed. Now ain't go be the confirmation way, then they talk, say, no be our leaders be our problem. Now we be the problem of ourselves. The way people, they shout. The direction way, the dimension where the whole thing done they take now. Northerners done the day one side. Easterners done the day one side. Christians done the day one side. Muslims, in case nobody tell you, na me they tell you, na waiting I observe as a leader. No be time to consider person tribe be this. No be time to consider person religion be this. No be time to consider person political party be this. Waiting matter to us na the individual pedigree. The integrity with the individual carry. If you want to enter commercial bus now, then bring you 3 major tribes for Nigeria, and you, maybe Yoruba you be. They tell you, say, the best amongst the three drivers, Igbo. These other ones, then they see they learn. You go allow make your tribal man drive you. If na aeroplane you enter, They give you options. Say, you see the pilots. Only say this one they learn. This ones I be waiting they do. And no be your tribe, no be your religion. Which one you go choose? Make una answer me. So I beg, make we dey very careful. This thing heavy me for heart. Now make I talk am today. You don't tell where they observe am. Some people are supporting some candidates because of religion. Some people are supporting some candidates, a particular candidate, because of tribe. Some because of the region where the candidates came from. Now, very bad thing where they happen to us. We the adults, now we they scatter this country now. But wait till me they talk here, be say, I beg. I know I am talking to somebody right now. I know within you, between you and your God and your conscience, you know I'm talking to you. You know you are supporting a particular candidate because of his religion. You know you are supporting so candidate because of his tribe. You know you are supporting so candidate because of his political party. Please pinch yourself and come back to your senses. Tribe, religion, political party has nothing to do with the new Nigeria. The new and improved Nigeria should be devoid of ethnicity, religious sentiment, tribal sentiment, and other sentiments will follow, including political sentiment. That is party sentiment. We they blame some of our leaders, talk say now their godfathers, they control them. And not true. Now who they control us? You will not get godfather. So somebody they control your consciousness. Somebody they control your conscience.
Share when I don't see the video, Abby. Let me to the fact.
Our great Nigeria is possible. Our great Nigeria is very possible. And useful. Obedient and useful. Our great Nigeria is possible. Our great Nigeria is very possible. For better infrastructure, for better life, yeah, my people. For better roads, yeah, for better hospitals and health, yeah. For lights today, for everything to work for us, for Nigeria. Yeah. No more hunger. Obi for better Nigeria. Obedient and useful. Obedient and useful. Oh yeah, Obi Hausa man, Yoruba man, Igbo man, Middle Belt, Niger Delta. Let us come together for better Nigeria. For better life, for better health, for better road. From consumption to production.